So let's make this together. Stay tuned to the end to get the best part of it. Okay, so we're going to draft our long basic skirts or pencil skirts long. I'll mark the waist to hip line and I'll rule it across. On this paper, the measurement here we have is hip divided by 2. Okay, so on that, I'll mark my waist to hip and waist to knee, right? Waist to hip and waist to knee. Having gotten the size of your measurement, hip divide by 2, that is the size of paper that you need to work with. Now I will divide the hip line into 2. Remember, I did not add allowance to the hip, but make sure it is your actual hip measurement so that it will not be tight on you. So we're going to divide the lines into 2, just like this. Remember, waist to hip line and the waist to knee line, right? Now on the waistline also, I'm going to divide it into 2 using the hip measurement, right? So once that is done, we're going to roll a straight line from top to bottom, from bottom to top, whichever way you want to rule it. And we're also going to get it down across, as you can see. So at the CF side, the part I'm using for the CF, I'll come down by 1 inch, and then I'm going to measure my waist circumference divide by 4. So waist of 32 will give us 8 inches. That is, if you're using waist of 32, will give us 8 inches. And then we're going to rule from the 1 inch below to the 8 inches. This is called pouch, so that you can eliminate smile lines on the front. And then from there, we're going to connect to the hip line. In this skirt, there is no dart at the front. Okay, if you watch any of my skirt making, there is no dart at the front. It does not rule out the fact that you can have that in front of your skirt, but that's how I love it and it comes out beautiful. Now to the back side, I will go in by 0.75. This is to create a butt illusion. Okay, that is where my measurement is going to start from, or what you call inner waistline. 0.75, and rule it towards the hip line. Okay, so from there I'll take my actual waist measurement again, divide by 2, and then I'll add 1 inch for that, for the back. I'll add 1 inch for that at the back. So once that is done, I'm going to rule it, connecting it to the hip line, to my actual hip line, like so. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to create our dart line. We're going to divide the actual waistline into 2 to get the point for the darts, and we mark ½ inch on both sides. ½ inch on both sides. And then the length of the dart is 6 inches, so I'm going to rule it down to 6 inches, just making sure they're on a straight line. Alright, I hope you've subscribed to this channel. If you've not, please kindly do so. Bring you interesting video tutorials on sewing. Okay, now for the back also, I'm going to come down by 0.25, so that the back will not also have any form of smile line at the back. It will make it relax properly. Okay, so even if you close your darts, you can actually, actually aligns properly. Okay, so we're making progress. Now the next thing we're going to do is our knee tightening. Because this is a long pencil skirt, right, with opening at the back, we're going to tighten our knee. I'm taking away 1 inch from the hip measurement, 1 inch. If you have a bigger tie, you can take away 0.75 or even 0.5 so that it will not be tight on you. So I'll rule it towards the hip line. I'll rule this other part towards the hip line as well. And on the front side too, the side of the front, I will equally connect to the hip line. Now the next thing to do is to rule this line straight forward down, no tightening below, just rule it straight forward down. Whatever it took at the knee line, you're just going to rule it straight down to get your pencil skirt or straight pencil skirt, however you choose to call it. I hope this is making sense to you. Please kindly subscribe to the channel and watch out for more videos, and all the previous videos that we have are very interesting, very educative. You can learn something from it. Okay, so these are the parts that we're going to be cutting off. We're going to be cutting off, right, to get what we want. Okay, so we're just going to cut this off. If you have any other method of making your skirt, you can actually go ahead and use it. The important thing is that it fits you properly, but this method is one of a kind. It's just going to fit properly. Okay, now looking at the back, I closed the back. That is going to be another video on its own. This is actually for somebody who has a bigger backside. If you don't have a bigger backside, this method might not be okay for you. It's going to create excess gap behind. So before you do something, you need to understand the body shape of the person you're working with and know how it's going to come out on their body. If you do extra butt illusion on someone whose back is very flat, you won't like the outcome. Okay, so in taking measurements and in drafting, you need to actually look at the person shape and know what is going to be okay for them. I hope it's making sense to you. So while we're done cutting, we're going to place on our fabric and then cut it out, adding 1 inch for seam allowance by the side and half an inch on the top area. Of course, we're going to be adding band to this skirt. This is a high waist skirt, so on the pattern we're not going to minus the band area. Everything is just the same. So once that is done, we're still going to add 1.5 inch band because I want the skirt to be really high. It's a high waist skirt. Okay, so if you're making it to be a normal skirt, um waist skirt, you're going to minus the band area from the pattern and then use it to cut the band. Okay, so I hope this answers some unasked questions that you might have in your mind. And if you have any question, please kindly do well to ask it in the comment section and you will receive an answer to your question. Okay, so we're done cutting for the back. The next we're going to be cutting is for the front. So this is for the front. This is for the front that we're cutting. I should have fast forward this place since it's just the cutting, but then I want to explain some things and that's why I left it so that we can actually use this part to explain what we have just explained. So by the side we have 1 inch seam allowance. You can do more than 1 inch if you know how to manage it very well, but standardly we add 1 inch by the side of our pattern and half inch at the top. Below you can choose to add whatever depending on the kind of hemming that you're going to be doing, but here I added 1 inch since I'm using hemming gum to fold it. Now for the flare that we have by the side of the skirt, I'm going to cut a long strap. I'll measure the side of the skirt from waist to the length, and then I will cut a long strap that is longer than the length of the skirt. Longer than the length of the skirt. You can see how long this is. Times 2 or times 3 of the length of the skirt. So once I have this times 2 or times 3, depending on how full you want it to be, I'm going to pleat it by the side, making sure that you fold the edge, okay, leaving the area where you're going to be fixing your band half inch on top, and then I'll pleat it as I'm sewing. I'll pleat as I'm sewing. There's no magic to this. This is just a long strap. So I'll pleat as I'm going, split as I'm going. I'll be fixing it to the front part of the skirt. Once this is done, I'm going to get the back and place it side by side to the front part, like so, right? And then stitch on top of it, so that when this is turned this way, this also is by the side of it. Okay, so that is exactly what I'm going to be doing. Then after which I'll fix the band, 1.5 inch band, and we fixed our zipper up to the band area, and we close the back side, and voila, our skirt will be ready. I hope you understand something from this video. I hope it works well for you. This is the outcome of what we have just made. Isn't it beautiful? Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.